everybody, I'm Jeremy Cordeaux. Welcome to the Garage, the Court of Public Opinion in session. Gary's here, Pete's here, obviously, because we couldn't roll the camera without Pete. I hope you had a good week. Cooler weather, thank God. Cooler weather. But what a day. We're recording Monday afternoon for Tuesday and Thursday. But today, Tuesday, Parliament is back. The Reserve Bank makes its interest rate decision. Well, no, they made that decision a while ago. The announcement, about 2 o'clock. Most say we're in for a hike. We will soon know. I reckon that's what we'll get, a hike. Both headline and underlying inflation above the RBA band. It is their job, the RBA's job, to bring inflation down while the government pushes it up. Insane. The energy policy of this government has ensured that everything is more expensive. The cost of electricity is reflected in everything we buy, everything we do, everywhere we go. And will increase by another 20, have you heard this? Another 25% by July. Can you imagine the bankruptcies that will cause, the discomfort that will cause? And no more electricity rebates. Our cheap, clean coal and gas happily being used in China and India, where they pay 6 cents per kilowatt hour as opposed to our, I don't know, 50 to 60 cents per kilowatt hour. That's what we have to pay thanks to Albo's renewables policy. Oh, it's all right, we're saving the world. We should have the cheapest electricity in the world. We used to. And therefore, of course, the lowest inflation. Not with Albo there. Australia has the second highest household debt in the world. A treasurer who has lost control of government spending, a weak economy with government spending growing 4 times faster than the Australian economy, the biggest spending government in 40 years. And all the opposition can do is talk about themselves. Amazing. The federal government will boost funding to state hospitals by $25 billion. That's going to put a huge hole in the already bloated federal budget. That's a total of $220 billion over 5 years, a 5-year period. And also there's a commitment to keep at least that they've noticed the NDIS. They commit to keeping the NDIS growth to 6% a year. Now hang on here. The number of disabled people will grow by 6% a year? Well, they have been growing at 20% a year. Look, the NDIS is dedicated to growth, waste, and is riddled with fraud. Just why the government hasn't held the minister and management to account is a mystery. Now we come to this clever little sleight of hand thing. They want to get autistic and dyslexic kids off the NDIS onto another organisation. Sort of under the carpet. Yeah, Thriving Kids they call it. Look, whether it's one organisation or two, you're still spending or wasting the same amount of money, probably more because of duplication. More bureaucracy. And as I say, dedicated to growth, this is not cutting the expense, it's increasing the expense. Penny Wong has given $50 million of our money, your money, to Afghanistan, which means the Taliban. The Taliban. We closed the Afghanistan or Taliban embassy, sent the diplomats packing. Is anyone in the media, apart from us, here in the court of public opinion, in our little garage, going to ask what the hell is this government doing? $50 million to these bastards. We have a cost of living crisis. The whole foreign aid thing needs to be talked about. Charity begins at home. There should be no... Now look, I understand people will disagree with this. But I believe there should be no foreign aid while we have 125,000 people sleeping rough on Australian streets every night. Call me Friday and tell me what you think. Tear my ears off if you want. I wonder, with all the Labor Party ads that are running at the moment, you know, we're doing a great job and here's the bill, you know. They're everywhere, federal and state, every state. Why haven't I seen the ad? The one that says, we plan to kill 25,000 whalers, 25,000 brumbies, because the Invasive Species Committee reckons they are a reminder of colonialism. And, oh yes, yes, we've banned people from talking about it. Well, I have a BBC documentary crew that is very interested in this story, this slaughter of these wild, iconic horses. This will bring international attention and condemnation and humiliation to these callous idiots. 60 Minutes Australia? Not interested. 60 Minutes New York? Very interested. But because of the billions, I mean, this is just a thought. Let me say, choose my words carefully. Could it be that because of the billions that government spends on advertising, as I said to you last week, you don't bite the hand that feeds you? Call me cynical. Interesting to see how well the Canberra insiders have looked after their own. And I'm speaking of Australia's E-Commissioner, beautiful looking woman. She now makes $536,000 a year. I'm sorry, to do what? Watch the internet, I guess. That's an increase of $74,000. That's her pay rise. A lot of people don't earn $74,000 as their entire salary. That's her increase. Why? What's the justification? And the AFP boss, the Australian Federal Police boss, another lovely lady, I'm sure, Chrissy Barrett, got a huge salary increase. She now takes home $816,000 a year. $816,000 a year. You buy a house with that. I don't understand it. I know there is an independent tribunal which decides these things, but they should be made to account to us publicly. Present for public scrutiny a cost-benefit analysis. It just doesn't pass the pub test. And I can't remember whether I told you or not that I love the name, the pub test, and I rang Corporate Affairs and I said, is that name available as a business name? And she went away and came back and said, yes. So now you're looking at the person who owns the pub test.
I'll drink that.
And the domain name.
I'll drink it.
Yes. I would have thought somebody would have grabbed that name ages ago. And that's a great name. It's a totally Australian name. which could be international, because we all know what happens in the pub. We talk. By the way, why didn't the media cover this one? It occurred at the tennis in Melbourne, when the Prime Minister was introduced during the trophy presentation. He was booed for 10 minutes. How embarrassing. None of the other dignitaries seemed to get the same treatment. You can Google it. That's where I found it, I guess, because I haven't seen it anywhere else. And it's quite true. Prime Minister Anthony Albanese was greeted with loud, sustained booing from the crowd when he was introduced at the Australian Open men's single final. Booing occurred at the Rod Laver Arena in Melbourne during the post-match trophy ceremony. He won't get a run here, but I'll bet it gets a run overseas. I bet it will. But mind you, if you're in that business, politics is a tough game, you know. You've got to take the rough with the smooth. This is the way it works. Happy birthday if you're having a birthday. Happy wedding anniversary. I hope you, if it's a day of celebration, are having a good one. It's February 3rd. Yeah, well, we start. Oh, that's sad. Pete, listen. 1959, the plane crash known as the day the music died kills musicians Buddy Holly, Richie Valens, J.P. Richardson, the Big Bopper, yeah. Chantilly lace and a pretty face and a ponytail a hanging down, a wiggle in a walk, a giggle in a talk. Oh, baby, that's what I like. They just don't write them like that anymore.
Not allowed to.
I suppose you're not allowed to, I don't know. Anyway, I don't know. A plane crash near Clear Lake, Iowa. 1959. They could have all opted to just take the bus. I don't know. Anyway, life is somewhat maybe predestined. 1815, the world's first commercial cheese factory is established. Where else? Where do you think, guys?
No idea.
The world's first commercial cheese factory.
Cheddar in England.
No, Switzerland.
Of course.
There are more holes than a Swiss cheese. I mean, come on. Isn't that the place where they have a sport where they roll these great big cheese things down hills and things? No, I think I've seen that. Elmo, puppet character on children's TV show Sesame Street, main character from 1985. Born at Sesame Workshop, New York City, on this day in 1980. Believe it or not. 1982, circus owner P.T. Barnum buys the world-famous elephant, Jumbo. Jumbo, the world-famous elephant. Somebody's moving cars down there. Anyway, 1969, ibuprofen launches in the UK under the brand name of Brufen as a prescription medicine, now the world's most popular anti-inflammatory painkiller. I would have thought Panadol would have been.
Panadol, yeah.
Panadol, yeah.
Panadol.
Yes. But no, I don't know.
Aspirin.
Well, yes, I keep away from as many of those things as I possibly can.
Okay.
The first operational weather satellite, ESSA-1, launched in America on this day in 1966. Before this day, this very day in 1966, you know what they did? They looked out the window, which they don't do anymore. I think it's a great shame they don't look out the window anymore. 1966, same day, same year, first soft landing on the moon by a Soviet spacecraft, Luna 9. Johannes Gutenberg, German inventor, mobile type printing press, dies about 70, we're not sure, but 1468 was the year, and this was the day. One of my favourite people in all of history, Sam Clements, 1863, Sam Clements first uses the pen name. Does anyone know it?
No.
Mark Twain. Mark Twain, in a Virginia city newspaper called the Territorial Enterprise. And Mark Twain, because he was fascinated by, the Huckleberry Finn thing and the riverboats and the Mississippi and all of those things. And the thing was that they had somebody up the front of the boat with a lead weight on a rope. And they chucked that off the front of the boat. Mark Twain was what the guy yelled to the captain up in the bridge of the riverboat when there was clearance for the boat to sail over whatever obstacles there may be. Mark Twain means, I suppose, clear sailing, I suppose. Clear sailing. Something like that. I like that. Mark Twain. Pixar Animation Studios, Toy Story, The Incredibles, headed by Edwin Catmull and Avery Ray Smith. What wonderful names. Spun off from Lucasfilms Limited as an independent film production company with backing from Steve Jobs. The year was 1986. This was the day, and the rest is history. Isla Fisher, Australian actress, Arrested Development, The Great Gatsby, Wedding Crashers, Scooby-Doo, born Muscat, Oman, was married to Sacha Baron Cohen, who was a very interesting character. You know that man,
Mankini.
the Mankini never took off, did it? Didn't work. But that was 1976. 1976, Lord Lucan's death certificate was granted 42 years after his disappearance following the murder of the nanny Sandra Rivet, enabling his son George Bingham to become the 8th Lord Lucan, 2016. Ronald Ryan, the last person to be executed in Australia, in Pentridge Prison, Melbourne, 1967. Morgan Fairchild, actress, born Dallas, Texas, this day, 1950. Albert Spalding invests £800 or dollars to start a sporting goods company manufacturing the first official baseball, tennis ball, basketball, golf ball. 1876. And now, of course, the name Spalding is synonymous with sport. Well, anyway, it is what it is. I look forward to the posting on Thursday morning at 9 o'clock here on Facebook from the Garage and the Heart. JeremyCordeaux.com on Friday morning, live streaming for 3 hours. I hope you might join us. Thank you for being with us in the Court of Public Opinion. Believe in yourself. And from all of us to all of you, goodbye for now.